Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport, and today we are heading back into the world of old Formula E races. We haven't done one of these in quite a while, pretty much since the end of the 2024 season. But as the 2024-2025 season is all set to begin in a week's time, it's time to head back into this wonderfully nostalgic world of like 2017, 2018. It doesn't seem that long ago, but it was, trust me. If you think about what has happened since 2018, it's a long time ago. This is the 5th race of Season 4. And going into this, we have seen the rise of Jean-Eric Vergne and the old order of Sebastian Buemi and Lucas di Grassi kind of fall back into the midfield a little bit. It's not so much about them anymore. That's good for the series, but we'll see if Mexico City can give us any big surprises. There are no changes to the grid for this one. It's exactly the same as race 4 at Santiago, so I'll not go into that. We'll look at a few people as the race gets underway. And so with that, sit back, relax, and let's jump into this look at the Mexico City E-Prix from Season 4 of Formula E.
Costa on row 2, reigning champion Lucas di Grassi starts at the back. All 5 lights are on. And we go green in Mexico City. It's a decent start from Rosenqvist. Turvey's trying to pull alongside him, but Rosenqvist comes across, covers it nicely. Buemi looking racy, and Daniel Abt looks to the outside. Great start from the German for Audi. He has made up a place. Everybody's safely through the first corner. Lucas di Grassi has already made up one place. This is where the concertina tends to happen, though, coming down into turn 3. Look at Jean-Eric Vergne up the inside of 2 cars, side by side with Da Costa. There's a bit of bodywork flying further back, but predominantly we're safely through. But a really feisty start to the race for Jean-Eric Vergne. He has now got past Nelson Piquet as they come into the Foro Sol. The crowd erupts on this opening lap.
And he tried to muscle just through on the Andretti car. Antonio Felix da Costa was having none of it.
Jose Maria Lopez has just hit his teammate wide, but leading the way is Felix Rosenqvist with Turvey in second, Buemi in third, 4th place now as they look at Lucas di Grassi. He's got past Sam Bird. Bird has dropped from 19th down to 20th, but 4th now is Daniel Abt, 5th is Da Costa, 6th is Jean-Eric Vergne. So Vergne has managed to hold on to that 6th position as the Mexican waves begin at the end of lap number 1.
So we have a clean start, which is always nice to see in Formula E. There was a few bits of contact and a few bits of carbon fibre left behind, but nothing too serious, and no one has retired. Lucas di Grassi is at the back of the field, so again, it'll be interesting to see if he can make progress from there. He is pretty good at overtaking and making up places from the back, but it's Oliver Turvey on the front row is a very strange one. I don't know how he managed that, but we'll see as the race goes on if he can hold that position.
By Nelson Piquet in that grey and blue Jaguar. There's a move from Vergne coming into the stadium section. What a lovely move that is by the Frenchman, and I'm afraid Da Costa's going to get swamped there. Piquet follows through. Don't really see many overtakes there.
And that was very aggressive. Clearly, what we were seeing there was some energy saving going on by Da Costa, and he was just caught napping really by Jean-Eric Vergne, but then Jean-Eric pushed him wide on exit, which allowed the Jaguar Piquet to get through as well.
So that means Antonio Felix da Costa drops down to 7th position then as they come out of the chicane.
5 laps in, not much has changed. The only overtake we've actually seen is Jean-Eric Vergne getting past Antonio Felix da Costa. It was a very good move, even with bits of his car flapping. It's what you expect from Jean-Eric Vergne. He is a great driver. But other than that, nothing has really happened. It's kind of that early phase of the race where everyone is saving energy for the second half of the race when they switch cars, trying to make their battery power last as long as possible in the first stint. So we're not really seeing a lot of action yet, but there's still plenty of time for something to happen. Hopefully some things to happen.
Closest battle on track at the moment, just 0.4 of a second between them.
You notice they're running full rear wing.
And you can see here that Rosenqvist, and if you look at the standings on the left, Rosenqvist and Turvey have spread out. Buemi and Abt ride together, Vergne and Piquet ride together. It really gives you that 9th through 13th battle is very tight indeed.
Go back to the rear wing, because the air is so thin at this altitude, you can run a lot more downforce without the drag penalty because the air is thinner. There we go, we've got a nice split onboard. You can see the view forward from the Dragon car.
Nearly a quarter of the way through this race, and to be honest, it's been pretty dull. Nothing's really happened. Felix Rosenqvist still leads out front. We're about halfway to the pit stops. Lucas de Grassi's made a little bit of progress, but it's actually his teammate who's doing a lot better than him. Daniel Abt is at least trying to get past Sebastian Buemi, but so far he's not really been close enough to make a move. And this race has been a little bit disappointing.
Rosenqvist is slowing. Race leader Felix Rosenqvist in the Mahindra. It's crawling. Oliver Turvey is into the lead of the Mexico City E-Prix, and Rosenqvist is out of contention. And has that damaged his title chances? Can he get that Mahindra going? What massive drama. There he goes. Lights up the rear tyres, but he's now in last place.
Oh my goodness. And I was just about to say he had picked up the fast lap of the race to this point.
Well, that's a massive shock. Felix Rosenqvist was leading this race pretty comfortably. Something's gone wrong with his car. He's dropped to the back. He has got it going again, but I don't know if this is a terminal problem, if it's going to cost him the race. Massive shame. Honestly, Rosenqvist in Season 3 of Formula E and Season 4 has been absolutely brilliant. And, you know, every now and again in IndyCar in recent years, he puts in fantastic performances, has the speed to go with the top drivers, and then something happens and it just doesn't work out for him. He is one of the unluckiest drivers in motorsport, and honestly, he has deserved a much better career than he's actually had. And all that leaves Oliver Turvey at the front of the field. And I know that Oliver Turvey has never won a Formula E race, but I'm intrigued to see how he throws this one away. I vaguely remember, but it's going to be interesting to see if my memory is correct.
On board with Alex Lynn. That coasting area. Is he going to go too late? Julie, you got to be decisive with a move. If you make it too late, things like that can happen. You see the heads-up display. There's all kinds of information in the drivers, and in fact, the teams don't actually have. You see the power on the right, just above the right front wheel going up. You see it going green as he regens as the motor turns into reverse.
Rosenqvist returns to the pit lane, pulls into the Mahindra garage, and his chances of a good result, I'm afraid, are very, very over.
We're nearly at the halfway point now, and it looks like it's going to be over for Rosenqvist. He has a long way to go in that second car. I don't think he'll make it to the end. Although de Grassi did surprise us with a really good performance somewhere. I can't remember where. But I don't think Rosenqvist is going to come back for this one. He's lost too much time anyway, unless it's a safety car. Alex Lynn almost punched a hole in the back of Andre Lotterer, but apart from that, we still haven't had a lot of overtaking. Oliver Turvey has a really good lead of 3 or 4 seconds, but he has used more energy. But it's going to play out in the pit stops, which will be happening in the next few laps. Hopefully, the second half of this race gets a little spicier, because, yeah, unfortunately, the first half of this race has been pretty dull.
Hold the field up.
So there is Daniel Abt. So let's see what happened then. Here we go on board with him coming down into turn 1. Buemi covers the inside line. Oh, he's made a mistake. Buemi's thrown it away in second position.
I mean, he got on the dirty part of the track, Jack trying to defend, and you see the result. Look. That was bizarre.
Well, he spun there last year as well, didn't he? All of his own accord. Lynn and Lopez are pitting straight on.
Who was that?
I think it looked like a Andretti. Was it Da Costa?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well spotted, Jack.
Antonio Felix Da Costa locking up and going straight on down at turn 1.
This has not been a great race for Antonio Felix da Costa. He's lost a couple of places already, and now he's lost a few more after going straight on. I don't think he'll recall this race with fond memories. Buemi has lost second place to Daniel Abt, and it was his own mistake. And that should lead us into the pit stops, where it's going to be tough for Abt to close on Turvey. Turvey's got a good lead, but Abt does have a couple more percentage of power in this first car. So we'll see if that makes a difference. I imagine the pit stops will be within the next couple of laps.
Now Abt is further down the pit lane than Turvey, so he may well have to wait. There goes Abt, he's done it! Daniel Abt out! And has leapfrogged Oliver Turvey. Turvey has been held up behind Prost. Verne is right behind Turvey, but that gives Daniel Abt Degrassi right now, he's in a net third because Piquet and Degrassi have still yet to pit. But Daniel Abt is the race leader.
Does Degrassi leapfrog anybody in the pit stop exchange?
Yeah, we'll wait and see, because he and Piquet are going to pit before too long. Piquet's in. Where's Piquet going to come out in regards to all of these guys? Because he was behind Verne.
So my memory did let me down because I thought something happened to Oliver Turvey in the pit stops and he made a mistake. But it's not. It's just Daniel Abt was very quick on the in laps and closed the gap. And then Turvey got slightly delayed as Prost came into the pits. That gives Daniel Abt the lead of the race. And he actually has a decent gap back to Turvey. And it's still Verne and Buemi behind them. Not a lot has changed during the pit stop period. And now we have less than half a race distance to go. Hopefully we see some action now. Lucas Degrassi is also going longer on his first car. So we'll see if that plays out in his favour in the second half of the race.
He can serve his energy a bit more.
Degrassi still 16th. But of course he had a 5-second penalty in the pit lane. So he was never really going to be able to gain. Oh, and there's a car stopped. Is that
Heidfeld? It looks like Heidfeld. It is.
Heidfeld. It's the other Mahindra of Nick Heidfeld. Here comes Buemi using his fan boost up the inside of Jean-Eric Verne. And that now is third position for the Swiss driver. Verne will try and fight back immediately, but Buemi using the fan boost to perfection there. And he's up into the podium positions.
And just what Jean-Eric Verne did not want to happen, because Buemi has been a bit of a roadblock in the first segment of the race up to the pit stop.
We're 2/3 of the way through this race, and honestly, I feel like I've skipped a lot of it, but nothing's really happening. I've only really stopped it now because the Mahindra of Heidfeld is now broken down. So that's both Mahindras in trouble. A shame because the Indian team had been doing fantastic up to this point, and honestly, they'll never hit these highs ever again. So to see them struggle here, both cars, is kind of sad. But this has just been a really boring race. There was some battling in the midfield, but no one's really all that close to each other. We're not really seeing any overtakes being made. It's just a very flat race. Daniel Abt still leads from Oliver Turvey. There's only, I think, 17 laps left. It's got very little time to redeem itself at this point.
Bit of some bodywork flapping around out there in turn 2.
Here's what happened to Degrassi. Oh, he tried to go on the inside of Lopez.
He just locked the rears, probably on the regen, just caught the rears jack, and it's probably his bodywork that's lying in the track. But that wasn't on purpose. It wasn't trying to muscle Lopez out of the way. He just locked the rears. But he has got the fastest lap at the moment, so there are points available.
But he's got to get into the top 10 to claim it.
Yeah.
And so if he gets in the top 10, he's getting points.
Anyway, so yeah, basically what I said doesn't make any sense.
Well,
Lucas Degrassi has not made much progress in this race. He's still down in 16th place, chasing Jose Maria Lopez. That spin is not going to help him break into the top 10. It's just been a struggle for the Brazilians so far in Season 4. The worst title defence since Nelson Piquet Jr. only a couple of seasons previously.
it's an odd one from... Well, let's look at Piquet's last lap as he comes across the line in a couple of moments' time. There's Rosenqvist coming into the pits. And,
11 laps to go. Daniel Abt now with nearly a 4-second lead. Everybody's going to be thinking about Hong Kong, where he came across the finish line first, but lost it on a technical violation. There goes Lucas Degrassi. Zandberg, as mentioned, plummeting down the order, actually up into 14th place right now.
Degrassi's just used his fan boost to get past Jerome D'Ambrosio and up into 12th position. So actually,
pushing him through too, wasn't he?
He's only 2 places behind the points here, Degrassi. How far behind in terms of lap time? About 4.5, 5 seconds off the points, Degrassi. So it needs to be a stellar final 11 laps.
Degrassi is starting to make late progress with 10 laps left. It's not a lot of time, but he is up into 12th place after a couple of really good overtakes. And honestly, this has been the most exciting part of the race. Not a lot of overtaking going on at the front of the field, but Turvey has been caught by Buemi. Jean-Eric Verne is very close with Piquet, and they've swapped places as well. And Mitch Evans is around and about that area as well. So, 10 laps left. Everyone is sort of closing in on each other. Daniel Abt still has a really good lead. I don't think he's going to lose this one. But everyone else, there's a lot that could still be decided.
With 3 laps to go now, he's looking still for his first race victory in Formula E. He thought he had it in Hong Kong, and then late that night it got taken away from him. Can he finally take his first victory?
It's quite a magic moment on his birthday in Hong Kong. They lost it on a technical violation within the team, not his fault.
I've skipped to lap 45 or 47 because, honestly, nothing was really happening. Daniel Abt has a 5-second lead. He's well clear. He's got plenty of energy. As long as he doesn't break down, this one's in the bag. There hasn't really been any overtaking in the top 10 at all throughout this race. Di Grassi is on the edge of the top 10, so he could still score a small amount of points here. But it's not been a great race. I mean, he started at the back. What do you expect? But I did expect a little bit more from him. Other than that, this has honestly been one of the worst Formula E races I have ever seen. I think back in season 1, was it Paris or Moscow? One of those. That was a really dull race. But we haven't had one like this for a very long time, where cars are very spaced out, there isn't a lot of battling. It's been pretty dull throughout the entire race.
Who is going to finish in second place? Oliver Turvey has it at the moment, but Buemi is on a charge, but he's not quite close enough. As late on the brakes as possible as they flash through turn 1. Now through the long right-hander of 2. Turvey will just cover the inside line. There's no way he is opening the door for the Swiss racer to try and get past. Di Grassi is up into 10th place. It looks like the Brazilian will finally seal some championship points, but this 4-car train over second position at the moment is being headed by Oliver Turvey, the Englishman who has never had a Formula E podium in his whole career before, and I think he's just going to hold on. His knee ahead of Sebastian Buemi is going to be incredibly close between the two of them. Into the final chicane, they're going to come, but here comes Daniel Abt, already through the final chicane, and Daniel Abt is going to win for Audi. Their winless streak is over. Abt victorious in Mexico. Second across the line is Oliver Turvey. Third is Buemi, a first ever podium for Oliver Turvey, and there is delight at Neo for their first podium. There's delight at Audi for their first win of the season. Astonishing stuff.
And that's how it finished. Daniel Abt takes his first ever Formula E win ahead of Oliver Turvey, who takes his first ever Formula E podium, and Sebastian Buemi, who did give it a go over the last couple of laps. Bit too late in the race, and he did almost take out Oliver Turvey at one point. But either way, it was a strange result to the race. You do not expect Daniel Abt and Oliver Turvey to be the top 2 in a race, unless something crazy happens. And honestly, it was on pure pace, because Oliver Turvey started in second and finished second. Daniel Abt, I think, started in 5th. So he made progress, but he was near the front in qualifying as well. Honestly, it wasn't a great race. It was pretty boring, but the result is an interesting one that probably isn't going to affect the championship all too much. This is around the 1/3 of the way through the season stage, and a lot of the people who you would consider title challengers were not near the front. Di Grassi did get into 10th, so he did get at least a point, and otherwise, other than that, it's the usual bunch. Verne, PK and Evans and the Jaguars are both up there. Virgin had a bad race, so they lost out. Mahindra, obviously, both cars retiring. Pretty disastrous for them. But otherwise, it hasn't really shaken the championship up too much. And with that, let's look at the teams and drivers' standings after race 5 of season 4. In the team standings, Techeetah still lead the way with 99 points. Mahindra, despite not getting anything here, are still second. Jaguar jump over Virgin for third. And Edams leading the rest of the field in 5th. Jean-Eric Verne leads the championship from Felix Rosenqvist, Sam Bird, Sebastian Buemi, and Nelson Piquet Jr. in 5th. So that is it from Mexico City. I do not recommend going back and watching this one. It is not a very interesting race. But I'll be back with more Formula E over this coming week, because we have the new season starting very soon. So I'll be here with more Let's Watch Formula E. I'll be doing predictions videos, livery reviews, probably something else as well. And of course, we have the final round of Formula 1 at the weekend as well to look forward to. So it's a busy one this week. I'm going to try and do a video every day if time allows. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think of Season 4 of Formula E so far? Go back and check out the older videos as well, because I think there's about 40 of them now in this playlist. And obviously, check out all the videos on the channel. Thank you very much for watching, and have a good one.